area right alongside the Native Americans, and some of them to this day are my dearest friends, and I like their cultures, yes. And I even seek after artifacts from their history, but there's no struggle or strife if we don't cause it.
In Chinese, you know, the word American really means white to us. And that's why today I actually will not use the word American either, because I do believe that it really does not incorporate all of us. That there really still is not that political, social, and economic equality. And when that day comes, I'll be the first to stand up and say, I'm an American, and stand with everyone. But until I feel that, I think that I'll always feel like I have to say Chinese so that people know who I am.
America is not the United States. America is the entire continent. But we think here, or Americans here think that America means just this country. And so I feel like I have, you know, I've been kind of, I don't want to say I have, because I don't feel it like that, that my people, the people that I come from, have been sort of robbed of that term. We're not Americans, even though we are. And I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that came from, but you know, when you say, you know, I wish you would be American, or you would all agree to be American, you know, what is presented to me as an American does not look like me, does not think like me, does not smell like me, does not cry like me, does not play like me. So for me to say that, to use that as my primary identification, for me it means to deny nearly all of me.
So I see here an attitude expressed by Yutaka and by Roberto that says, how can I be an American? I can't. And so I won't. I'm going to cling to my heritage. Is this clinging the problem? Is this belief that you cannot become American the problem? For years I've said, why do these guys have such a problem being a color? Why can't they just be individuals and go out and make a place for themselves?
What's your answer?
And I hear you saying that we whites don't allow that, that we keep you down. Why aren't we just humans? I mean, why aren't we just brothers?
There's a certain sort of silent consciousness about what it means to be American that I sense coming from white folks that I'd like to talk about. But before I do that, I'd like to say one more thing that's hard about talking about racism, and that is that you know, people of color are spilling their guts and doing education to white people. Let me explain to you how you've got this wrong. Let me explain to you how you've got that wrong. Let me explain. And then we get cross-examined, and it's like, well, maybe your problem is blah, 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 blah. And it's always, you know, racism gets looked at as a person of color's problem, and it's not. You know, we're like on the receiving end of the problem, but we're not the problem. You know, I walk in a world where black people, where Latinos, where Asians, where Arabs, all these different people are experienced as problem people, and that, well, we're going to deal with the person of color problem, when in fact racism is essentially a white problem. And that for you to understand what racism is about, you're going to be so uncomfortable. You're going to be so different from who you see yourself to be now that you know, there's just no way for you to get it from where you're sitting. And I'm not saying that you could never get it. I mean that that you need to step outside of your skin and step outside of what seems really comfortable and familiar to you, and launch out into some real, for you, unknown territory. And you haven't gone out there like you haven't, you know, gotten in proximity to black people, as you say, because you don't have to. And that's part of what it means to be American, to me, is to have all these things that you can do if you want to, that you don't have to do if you don't want to do. And there's a way in which American and white and human become synonyms. That why can't we just treat each other as human beings? To me, when I hear it from a white person, it means, why can't we all just pretend to be white people? I'll pretend you're a white person, and then you can pretend to be white. Why don't you eat what I eat? Why don't you drink what I drink? Why don't you think like I think? Why don't you feel like I feel? God damn it, I'm so sick and goddamn tired of hearing about that. I'm sick of that. That's what it means to be human being to me. That's what it means to be white. That's what it means to be American. Why don't you come the hell over here? That's what I hear every goddamn day. And you know that I can't come over there. You know that this skin, and that this hair, and that this way to that talk, and that I think and I feel will never, ever get included because I'm unpalatable to this goddamn nation. I'm unpalatable. You cannot swallow me. You cannot taste me. You cannot feel me because you don't want to. You think that you can survive without me, but you can't, man. You think that, hey, it'll all be fine when we just treat each other like human beings. And what that says to me is, don't be yourself. Be like me. Keep me comfortable. Connect where I'm ready to connect. Come out to my place. Or maybe I'll come down and get some artifacts from your place. That is bullshit. When you say that your ethnicity is American, there is no American ethnicity. You had to throw away your ethnicity to become American. That's what it means. That's what it means. You give up who you are to become American. And you can pretend that it's okay because you're white. When we give up who we are to become American, we know that we're dying from it. You're dying from it too, but you don't know it necessarily. Get ethnic, you know? You know, I'm not going to trust you until you're as willing to be changed and affected by my experience and transformed by my experience as I am every day by yours. I'm always dealing with you. I'm always dealing with you. You don't deal with him. You don't deal with me. Maybe you had an opportunity to deal with some Latino people. Well, we always deal with you, baby. Always. Every day. And the ride up here, it's like, oh, man, where are we now? Oh, God. I hate being out of the city because I know who's out here. You all. Or at least I know who's in charge. Even if there's other people out here, I know who's in charge. And I don't know anywhere where I can find some safety that I can rely upon when I'm out here. You know, I'm real glad I got to the house before sundown.
Yeah. This is like shark-infested waters.
Really?
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be said. It can be felt. It's intuitive. It's hard to explain to somebody who doesn't have to go through it. But you know, I've traveled down south, and you know, just that feeling, like you said, you get, you know. Drive through Kentucky and Tennessee and see the Appalachian Mountains up ahead of you. And know you want to get through those mountains so fast without stopping for anything because you don't know if you'll get out.
That is, in my opinion,
No,
unfounded.
I'm not.
An unfounded fear and apprehension on your parts.
Unfounded. There's that word.
This valley is
again.
not hostile to Latinos.
How can you say that? You're not Latino.
No, it's not hostile to Latinos.
Can I just...
And Victor and Lauren here are expressing feelings that I'm afraid with these feelings there will be no progress and no change in racism. The fear of color will remain. The gap isn't being bridged here.
I thought Victor explained that very clearly, that we've changed as far as we're going to change.
Yeah, and you're expecting a change from the white person.
Exactly.
And I'm saying to you, you're the same as I am. And you don't believe that. And I think that really may be more predominant than you think. But what about guys like Colin Powell?